So is it true even? Are these stories true? So that's a gossip and innuendo card. Okay. Interesting. And we've got the nine of wands. Okay, interesting. Truth and integrity in the past. We've got the 6 of pentacles in the middle. Okay, so this is a way of them bringing truth and integrity. So I'm going to say we don't have politicians dying there. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this is gossip and innuendo, and it's trying to shed light on things that have happened in the past. This is the past. So in the past, a scenario like this, maybe not to the tune of 6 or 7, has happened. So I would ask my people that look into the German politics and or people that live in this area that are watching this video, please let me know, has it ever happened that even 2, 3, 4 politicians have died leading up to a big, national vote or whatever? Has that ever happened before? Because I feel like it's shedding light on something that's already happened, and it's mimicking it to get people to go, what? Because maybe back then people just accepted that that happened. Did some politicians get taken out just before a big vote in your past history? Okay, let us know, because it's saying that that could be the case here. And it's trying to shed light on things that have happened in the past, but that could also be other places in the world. See, it seems like the White Hat Alliance, and here's the Alliance card right underneath. They seem to have put out this, and they're likely the ones hiding these politicians that supposedly died. Okay, I feel like they're highlighting quite a few things here, not only things that have happened in the past, and maybe not just in Germany, but that this happens, and that these deep staters and these governments take out anybody that's against and or that they don't like. And maybe the reason they didn't take Trump out, or maybe they probably tried to, but was because nobody ever thought he'd win anyway, right? Remember, Hillary was for sure going to win, okay, because they'd already put in place all of their cheat. And that didn't happen that time. Or and maybe they got double crossed by the White Hat Alliance. Who knows what happened? Their stuff got, it didn't work. Okay, so I feel like they're not only are they, it looks like they're trying to they're outing things that have happened in the past, but outing the news. Okay, so these guys can also be about news, because that's gossip and innuendo, which is pretty much what the news is these days. It's not real news, right? In the past, there was real news, I think, once, but it very quickly got taken over as soon as those deep staters, those overlords, realized how they could manipulate it. I think really early in the news game, bought up all the news stations and turned it into gossip and innuendo. Okay, so I feel like it's also outing them, outing the matrix of mainstream media. I think so. It's not just outing what they do to politicians and what they do to these people and anyone who doesn't agree with their policies and anyone they don't want getting in. Okay, they out. They're outing that the news reporters, the mainstream media, are completely politicized and owned by, just one side. Certainly not fair reporting whatsoever, or any kind of journalism whatsoever. But in the past, it was. So they're outing that as well. So they're outing a lot of things, and they need a lot of outcry here. It's like the Alliance is looking for and building their case that this is been going on for a long time. So the general population will accept, I'm thinking, secret tribunals that have going on with these people, and or against them, tribunals where they've been tribunaled, okay? And like things that have already happened in the past that we've been talking about on this channel and others, or this website and other truther channels, that these people are being in the background dealt with, okay? But we still don't have absolute evidence of that, but the cards have been saying that for years. I'll just remind you guys. Okay, so that's what was going on there. So no, these people are not being taken out. they're being hidden, it looks like. And that is absolutely outrageous. Okay. But it makes more sense actually than they're all just dropping dead. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the USA took out a supposedly a drug smuggling boat coming from Venezuela on its way to the US. And according to Trump, was full of fentanyl. Okay. And he just went on and on about that. Okay. And I feel like there's way more going on here. And I don't think it's about fentanyl at all, although that, that because they took it out in international waters, just for first thing. Okay, so it must have been a big threat of some kind. And Monkey Works, okay, so remember the YouTuber Monkey Works? He's been out there, spreading truth for a really long time. According to him, he's been tracking a story that, and other YouTubers are doing this as well, other truthers, that Epstein is actually hiding out or been hidden out in Venezuela. Okay, so we, most of us know Epstein very likely is not dead and is likely being hidden either by the white hats or by the bad guys. We don't know who's hiding him. I don't know for sure. I more get white hats. Okay, so the story that he's in Venezuela doesn't really make sense to me, but I gotta be open-minded because I could be wrong about that, right? Okay, so what we want to know is what is really going on with that war, that ship taken out in what's it called? International waters. So that is not usual, right? That's like an act of war. Is Trump trying to start a war with Venezuela? What's really going on? Is it about Epstein? Like, what's it about here? Because something is definitely going on that's not what they're saying, okay? Or is it just about drugs, okay? That might be the Seven of Cups. If the Seven of Cups comes up around what it's about, possibly we're talking about drugs and that kind of dysfunction. But there's a lot of other cards that might come up talking about the other things. So let's have a look. So the story is that they took this ship out. Okay, and all my lefty friends, they're just horrified, right? Because it was taken out in international waters. And of course, they failed to, the mainstream media is reporting it as they just took out this ship like an act of war, but failed to even say what Trump was saying about it, which is it's laden with fentanyl, which I never bought that for 1 second either. None of this looks like fentanyl to me. This looks more like we got a deep state problem. We got a deep state dark cult problem. We got wait a sec, isn't that interesting? The official story might stay because this is the near future, that it was fentanyl. So they might be able to prove there was drugs on it, but I get it was about something else. I get it was about trafficking. So I feel like this was more about trafficking both women and children, and maybe even, together. So in other words, like we know they have entire underground activities that go on that involve women they've captured, and they have them birthing children. Okay, it's really interesting that a movie, what was it? There was a movie that it was the Mad Max series. Okay, I think it was the second one, or was it the third? I think there was 3 in that series, but let me know in the comments, guys, where they had women birthing children, and then I forget what they were doing with the kids in the movie, but then they were taking the milk from these women, and they were milking them with these machines. Okay, it was just disgusting, but I think it was a nod to these baby farms and they're using these infants and children for undocumented children to do satanic ritual abuse, also to make adrenochrome. I feel like because we've got both this card and this child card and this woman card, I feel like we've got a situation that was going on that had nothing to do with the official story might agree that even mainstream media might actually start talking about there was fentanyl on there or some kind of drugs, but it was about something else altogether different. And I get it was about children and maybe even women and children, but let's say human trafficking. So they took out a human trafficking ship. So that's, whoa, okay. Fascinating. So let's have a look at, now, I'm going to say some names here. I'm going to try not to botch the name of this guy here. So he's an African president and or prime minister. I'm not sure how they call him, leader for an African country. And somebody asked about it in the comments. And Abraham, gee, I'm going to botch it. Traore, this guy. Okay. And he's from Burkina Faso, or that's where he rules over. Okay. So you guys are going to have to figure out how to say his name yourself. And the person asking in the comments wanted to know, is this person like a puppet for the white hats? Are they deep state controlled? Like, what's going on with this person? Who are they? Are they part of the capitulated, puppeted government? Or is this person, one of the bad guys and still kicking around? What's going on? Let's have a look. And I don't often get to those kind of country stories because all I ever would get really that I see in my feeds are maybe mainstream media stories about these guys, if I even see any stories. So if you want to ask questions about other countries than what I've been looking at, please send me a full description of what's going on so I know how to ask the question, and maybe a link or two around the situation so we get a real picture, because we're not hearing the social media sort of takes on these things or your truth or takes on it. So we don't want just mainstream media stories, okay? Because of course it's for sure going to be a lie. But let us know if you're looking at countries that I don't normally ask about. Give us a link about your situation and a bit of a description what we're talking about. Okay, thank you. Okay, so there we've got interesting. Okay, so that person is made to look like a bad guy, puppeted by the White Hat Alliance. So they're using his brand. They're using his brand. I get he was taken out. He was probably tribunaled. Okay, because that card's right off the earth plane. He's not even on the earth plane, that guy. Okay, so they're using him to show the public what the agenda was. Okay, so they're doing what I think they're doing all over, like Starmer, same thing with Starmer, even though he's a total scumbag and was historically, I feel like whoever that is could be a mask wearer, could even be the real Starmer. This guy could even be the real guy, but they're capitulated and or they're using actors to replace them, but they're using their brand. Okay, so we've got that going on here as well. And they're getting, they're trying to, get people to notice what these guys have been up to. And they're really putting it in your face. Okay, so yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this one's a little bit interesting. So Coco and I, we did a great video, and I think you guys should go watch it when you're done watching this. The Woo Investigates, okay, and we investigated the Great Fires of the 1800s and linked it to Tartaria, by the way, and like fake history, basically. So for those that go, what, I'm not interested in the fires of 1800s. Well, once you watch this video, you might be, okay? Because it explains so much. We got so many gems out of here that never even occurred really to me. And until Coco and I started looking into this stuff, and Coco's did a lot of deep diving and brought us a lot of great questions, and the cards really shed some light on. And one of the things that came up, okay, so I won't say any more about the Woo Investigates. You got to go watch it. It's on Rumble. It's free to watch. Okay, you can find it on my socials. Now let's have a look here. Here, how to put this. So something that came up out of it was there was a lot of populations replaced back then, even with the orphan trains, etc. And what we got was that these replacements might be socially and or even biologically engineered humans. Okay, engineered somehow, maybe just socially, maybe brainwashed, but in the case of the baby trains, maybe even biologically engineered humans, okay? And what they were trying to do there was, so the Tartarians had got too wise, smart, and wealthy, okay? And overlords wanted control of the planet. Maybe it was the original taking over control, or maybe they just wanted to re-control the planet like they are like they've been trying to do for years, well, have been actually successful at doing for years now, okay? But they repopulated, so they took out the Tartarians and or that group of people, whether they were all Tartarians or not. They were wise, smart, and getting too big for their britches for these overlords, and they wanted them out. Okay, and now what I'm getting is that the middle class, so while I was saying that on that show, I realized that they're doing the same thing. They're taking out the middle class and say, let's just focus on Europe. Okay, because we know they're doing it in Canada and US as well and other places, but Europe in particular, they've been doing it for many, many years. And it's reached a boiling point in Europe where they're replacing populations entirely with basically brown-skinned people. And, nothing wrong, by the way, like... I have a brown-skinned son, okay? So you can't be sitting there calling me racist. I'm not a racist, okay? But I'm just going to say it's technically true. They're taking out white populations entirely, okay? And it seems like, right? And they're stuffing all of these people into these communities, okay, way too many, and not in a smart way. So they're not trying to integrate them. That's not like you can talk, like woke people can talk about, they're trying to integrate. No, they're not. Okay, they're literally dropping off boatloads, and mostly, by the way, males of certain ages, so young 20s to 30s and 40s. So no elders here. We've got no families, okay, so they're not family affiliated people, and they don't have children, it looks like, for the most part. That's been the most recent, okay, and maybe that's something they've just been doing recently, but maybe they started out with families, but now they've just been literally dropping off hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people in Europe that are males of certain ages, okay, so the rape culture's just gone off the charts. That's been around for a long time, but it's gone off the charts. It's like fair game to rape white people in those countries. Like, it's unbelievable. Probably not just raping white people there, everybody, just anybody who's in their way. But there's everyday stories and stories about the rape culture that's just, and all the governments are told to turn a blind eye. That's been the deep state government's action, because they're the ones dropping these people off. So what we want to know is, and not just the rape culture, like it's just despicable stuff they're doing, like that's hideous and heinous, of course, but even way more horrifying things, like they're killing their own community, but also other people getting in their way. They're turning a blind eye. So the governments and law enforcements in these countries are turning a blind eye to knife use, but locals and local females trying to protect themselves can't even use bear spray and or other sort of, not even weapons, but things that they could, even hairspray, okay, might be considered a weapon against these guys. So they basically weaponized the police against their own people in lieu of and or to protect a bunch of people they're dropping off there. Okay, so it sounds like the deep state plan to replace, just like they did in Tartarian times, okay, they're going to replace the population again. Because what happened, middle class got too smart again, okay, because if you look at the whole COVID pandemic, it was literally a takeout of the middle class. The mom and pop shops mostly disappeared. They're having a hard time coming back. It took out at the knees middle class. Everybody hasn't even noticed yet, but there's no middle class left probably. You just haven't noticed it yet, even in North America, everywhere. Okay, you haven't noticed yet because nobody's admitting that they can't afford their mortgages anymore. They can't afford groceries anymore. They've tripled. Like there's all kinds of evidence of this, but nobody's really talking about it to the degree what I just said just now. Okay. Some truthers are, but most people are in denial that they're living on a shoestring and still trying to keep up the facade of they're a middle class, okay? And they're dropping off all these people from the engineered countries. So they engineered the countries to be what you call third world, okay? But my question is, did they engineer these people they're bringing? Is that why Trump said they're not sending us their best? Are these people engineered to be not team players? Okay, because they're not showing, there's video after video. These people are not team players. These people are socially inept. And by everybody's standards, I don't think any country would want them pissing and shitting, excuse the language, okay, on streets, in public places. There's video after video that they're doing this. Okay, so if that's okay in the country they're from, okay, then they engineered that country to have no standards, because that's not evolved thinking, okay? That's going to spread disease. That's going to spread filth and stink, okay? They're frying eggs on sacred monuments, okay? Remember that when I just posted that yesterday or the day before? Like, it's unbelievable the stuff they're doing, and it makes no sense. We've got women chanting that they're willing to give over their children in the name of Allah or whoever, okay? And they're wearing like full burqas and seem to be okay with it, even though we were originally told they were escaping those countries so they don't have to wear that, okay? So originally my thought was, years ago, okay, before I was red pilled to this stuff, they were escaping countries to escape Sharia law. Now they're supposedly, according to the internet, trying to bring it to all of these other countries. Why would they bring what they're escaping from, okay? So it seems to me we've got either an engineered psyop that this is happening, and we've got paid actors pretending to be that the despicable things they're doing, and the stupidity, and the just not people that could fit into anybody's culture. Okay, so they're like showing us this, turning everybody like against these people. Okay, when in fact it looks to me like it's engineered. So were they engineered by the deep state? Do we have a socially engineered huge bunch of people they've been working on from, maybe they even created them in the first place biologically? I don't know, right? Underground, but where did they make these people? Where are they getting them from? Because I don't think any communities would want the grade of people that are coming into the European cities. Like, from according to what we're seeing on social media, nobody would want these guys. Okay, nobody's going to want them. Okay, they have no social skills. They have no social skills. They don't even belong in their own countries. Like, so what's going on? Okay, who made these people? Where did they come from? Is this literally fake? Are we being faked out with those videos? Okay, did they pay actors to do those disgusting things on camera? Really? Okay, so let's have a look. socially engineered, biologically engineered, or is this a psyop to get people to wake up to that this has been happening? Okay, they have been dumping in way too many people. We know that that seems to be part of it for sure, but I want to know about the people literally, if they were socially engineered or biologically engineered in particular, because it's getting weird, okay? Okay, so we've got the 6. And we've got the truth card. Interesting. So a percentage of the videos you see are true. Okay, so they're not psyoping us, although they, I feel like some of that's like where they're maybe purposely picking those and really circulating those. Okay, because that is a gossip and innuendo card. Okay, but it's from the past, and I feel like you are seeing true video footage of the kind of people that they're dropping off and what their shenanigans are, because it is shenanigans. Like they can't really, like I've seen videos of people getting fed, so newcomers to places like in Ireland, for instance, so they come to a food place where they're feeding them for free. Okay. And there's a lot of hungry people in Ireland, but those people aren't included in the lineup. No, they're feeding all of these newcomers for free, housing them for free, and they're throwing the food on the ground. Okay. So I've seen several videos of that, and people talking about that. Like, it's unbelievable. So it looks like there's a lot of truth to the video. So it doesn't look like the videos are paid actors. So we're going to rule that out. We might have where they slant towards mostly showing the worst behavior of these guys. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. That's how it works on social media. You see an outrageous thing and you film it and you put it up there. Okay, so now this is going forward. So that's interesting. We've got the 2 of Cups going forward. So that's about an agreed thing. So that's interesting, an agreed thing. Okay, I feel like the governments are compliant to agreeing to letting these people in. None of this is telling me if they were socially engineered. This doesn't answer that question. This is not answering my question. I'm going to have to do a whole nother spread on this. This is more about are those stories true? Okay, and it feels like a lot of the government agencies have agreed to do what they're doing. Okay, that feels white hat and alliance. Okay, so they've agreed to see, so against everybody's yelling about it, they've agreed to house these guys and feed them for free and give them phones, and it seems even cars in some cases, and take better care of them than they take of their own. That looks engineered by so that's the psyop part that's going on. And it'll only last a short time, it looks like. So pretty soon, all of a sudden, these people, all of that gets yanked back. But they're trying to make a point, it looks like. So I feel like when that stops, that'll be interesting. When they stop giving them any kind of support, those people, they don't feel at home there. They're going to want to get the hell out of there, right? Because all of a sudden, they're going to be the ones living on the street. That's going to be interesting. Anyway, so that's interesting. That's part of it. Let's look at the engineered part. So the people themselves, okay? Maybe even the universe can't believe I'm asking that question, but I'm asking it. The people themselves, are they being engineered socially, biologically, both? And then brought here? Like, what are they, making them underground? Like, it's weird, okay? I got to tell you. And or just creating like that atmosphere in the countries they're coming from, creating that atmosphere so these people, grow up throwing their garbage everywhere, shitting on streets, pissing on streets, and not even remotely caring about any kind of social graces or structure or any kind of moral compass. That's what it looks like. And also like completely brainwashed by religion. You can't even call it that, because when you actually read the doctrine of some of these religions, okay, they're just really like absurd and just brainwashing. Okay. And I think all religion is, by the way. So that's not just, again, not me being racist. I think all religions are brainwashing. It's a little more subtle in some of them, but it's really obvious in, for instance, where some of these videos are coming from and what these people are spouting, okay, about their ideologies. Like it looks like they're totally brainwashed. So is that the case? Did they do it subtly, or is it very specifically where they took whole groups of people and like created them? That's kind of what I'm getting at. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but we need to ask the question because it's just off the scales weird. Oh boy. Okay. So we got some underground stuff. So I'm thinking we got a combination with that so we've got, I call it sometimes the Two of Cups, but it's the Temperance card because there's 2 cups there, but universal timing. So we're getting ready to know the truth about this, but there's still going to be a lot hidden. But I would say these guys are engineered. I think we got some even biologically engineered people underground. I think some of them are coming from there. Okay. We're not ready, it says, to hear the whole truth. Okay. And they start them out as infants and children. So I'm thinking a lot of these boatloads are actually, and I think that the White Hat Alliance is trying to bring this out in the open in a way that we can actually stomach it, because it's going to be hard to stomach. I think we've got both engineering. Maybe this Two of Cups is both. So we've got socially engineered, like really like this, that would be the deep state, socially engineered entire groups of people to not have sort of social compasses. And so in other words, in a way, they almost sound like NPCs to me. They're not checking in with what they're doing, shit places where you're going to walk. Well, how in what kind of human? That's not a very evolved human being. Okay. And piss on the streets and stuff. That's not evolved. Okay. That sounds like they're really, really not thinking. Okay. They're just doing. Okay. That sounds like NPCs. I wonder if all of this talk about NPCs, we've got that's what we've got on our hands here. So they're engineered people. These are engineered people. And I feel like they're getting ready to show us. So by us even hitting on this, I feel like we're not quite ready to know. It gets really ugly, it looks like, but it's all really ugly. But it'll all come out. This card says they're getting ready to show us, and it'll be a great victory when everybody finally gets to know this, because honestly, we need to know. So we know that, we know that the whole scam will be out of the bag, you guys. Yeah. Are you even, have I lost everybody here? Okay. Yeah, it's really, really, really crazy situation. And it's going to be really, 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 really hard to understand for people. But these people have literally, and not all of them, I'm not talking about people that came legally. I'm talking about the boatloads they've been sending over, okay, for years and years, that are mostly men and not with families, and the ones that are literally doing things that like don't make any sense to any kind of person with any kind of morals or compass or social ability. Okay, that's what I'm talking. They're sending those people in, and those were created people. So we got social engineering. I think we got biologically engineered. Wheel of Fortune, and could even have been brought here from somewhere else. I'm even thinking some of them came here from somewhere else. So maybe they've just got them, maybe they took some of those reptilian people, dressed them up like humans. You know what I mean? I feel like we got a whole mixed bag of tricks, and it's been part of the war against humanity. And that's why they did it, right? So this is going to make people really, really mad when they find out. Oh my goodness. Like, we're piecing this together, you guys. Piecemeal. Yeah, we're piecing it together. I think that's all I got for you today, guys. I'm going to let that go there, and take care. Love you. Send in your ravens. Bye-bye.
Really quick heart palpitations to the point I thought I was having a heart attack again. So it was like the brrr, like, whoa, what's going on? I'm just having a very easy, like, chill Sunday afternoon. And so that was weird too. So I'm having that. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your comments there in the live chat. Now, Janine, can we do a poll on all these energies? What's going on? Like, it, I mean, there's weird weather around the world. There was that weird tsunami that wasn't a tsunami kind of 2 days ago. It became a nothing burger. You and I did a poll on that on Wednesday night. It was suspicious to say the least. And it very much appears like something was planned and then some other energy kind of either thwarted or mitigated what could have been the absolute disaster. So there was a lot of playing around here with frequencies and energies on the planet. But I'm curious what you can pick up from the cards. Where's all of this coming from? We're getting close to M10. Sorry, we crossed M9 a couple of years ago. This is where the first 3 planets of our solar system were above the galactic plane, receiving more energies from galactic center. By the end of this summer and into the fall, all of the planets of our solar system will be above the galactic plane. And a lot of people are suggesting that this could have a culminoric effect of a lot more energies hitting us at that point. And we might be feeling that already, the beginnings of that accelerated energy spikes coming from galactic center. So it could be that, or it could be, as Dick Allgaier was suggesting in the last couple of weeks when he was on the show, no, somebody's messing with the dial and really trying to fuck with us right now, too. So, Janine, what do you see in the cards?
Oh, well, that's in the past where I would agree with Dick Allgaier if somebody was messing with the dial here.
Okay.
But not, not horrifically, but enough to affect sensitive people. Okay, enough to sort of put some energy vibes out there, and we were picking up on them. Okay, right around us right now, there's like this something's on hold kind of energy. It feels like we're going to feel like we're holding our breath and something's just around the corner. And at any moment, those 2 of swords could come apart. So a lot of people might be feeling, and that could come across as dread if you don't like change or sudden change, but you're picking up on something could change suddenly. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting here. Okay. And it's more political or in the world. Like this feels more like on the political stage, maybe. So all of these countries are just poised to all kinds of things could happen. Like in Canada, what's going on with the government, what's going on in France, what's going on in the UK. Like there's all of these things coming out on all these leaders. And at any moment, any one of those things, like something really big could take any one of those guys down. That's what I feel like. So that feels like that to me. And then this emperor in the middle, so sort of commandeering the whole energy here, looks like it's, Trump in the White Hats kind of energy, because this card's like the emperor card, and that's our Trump in the White Hat card. So it feels like there's like he's sort of dominating the news. That's for sure. He's been doing that for a while.
Well, just a couple of minutes, by the way, he just announced that he's increasing the tariffs on Canada from 25% to 35%. He said that Prime Minister Carney called today, but he didn't take the call. Trump didn't take the call. So he said, we'll see what happens. And so Carney seems to be playing games here with this whole Palestine recognition of a city-state here announcement yesterday. Apparently that's pissing off Trump. And now we have not a deal. The extension that we already had was for August 1st. There's still no deal, and it looks like there might not be any deal. Although at the last hour yesterday, Trump did give Mexico, I believe, 3 more months, 90 days, because he said, "Oh, they're kind of getting along, and we're having a good conversation." That doesn't appear to be the case here with Canada. And on top of that, there's all the disclosure coming up about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama being part of this coup d'etat here. We have more news on that. Okay, so you're thinking it's more of a white hat op energy in the background. Things are stirring the pot, and we're all feeling or waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is that more the read that you're getting?
Yeah, the near future, and it's badly aspected. The sun, even though it's a really great card usually, I think in this case it might talk about children or information about children, things that have been hidden. And this is a deep, dark, nasty kind of, this guy can be nasty when he's badly aspected. And I feel like things are going to come out about, I think, some leaders and what they do to children. I really think that's something that needs to, and I'm hoping it does. And It's kind of looking like that. One of these leaders is finally going to be outed as the pedophile that they are, for real,
And
with the public.
just to add this to the record, also for the people who haven't seen the pay-per-view shows this week, every time we look at it from that angle, you also get clarifiers, but it appears that they have to do the financial stuff or perhaps the election coup d'etat first, and then we'll get to the pedophiles. Do you still see that as the timeline of events here, Janine?
Well, I think that's what it's trying to say, is that's what's going to take down. Like, so if we're waiting for this takedown, that's what's going to take them down.
Okay.
Ace, yeah. Okay, the financial has to die first, though.
Yeah.
Well, some ending around the financial system, the way it sits. And then this, but this is important too. This is going to be a really big deal.
Huh. Okay. So on that same poll, Meg, do you have any comments on the cards, or do you want to bring the astrology also to kind of pinpoint? You mentioned one alignment here this week. What's behind all of these crazy energies, Meg?
Well, first of all, interesting that Two of Swords is coming in, Janine. Have you been getting that a lot lately, or is that kind of sporadically coming up? Because I got that, I think, Wednesday, and it felt really strong when it came through, that Two of Swords message.
It's been sporadic, but it feels strong today. That's for sure. It's in a strong place.
Yeah, definitely. Like almost like protection too. What I was saying earlier, like you were saying, be discerning of the things that are going on, and Atlas and the energies of that too, right?
Yeah.
So this week, I think in my personal astrological opinion, I think the biggest thing is the fact that we've got that Saturn Neptune conjunction now in Aries at the same degree. So, we're in this year and next year, not exact until February 20th, 2026 next year, but this is the dissolving of the matrix and our systems and structures of life and the politicians. Neptune rules dissolving. In astrology, Saturn is the governments, the politics, our structures. So it can almost feel like for many of us, maybe we're also feeling it physically, like we're out of that old world. And we've been coming out of it for quite a while, particularly since 2020, but we're getting more and more away from what we would consider normal or solid into a totally new energy, totally new beginning, which I totally agree with you, Janine. I think there's going to be leaders, Saturn is leaders, politicians, government officials that get dissolved, that get exposed. For Aries, their lack of transparency, power, what they've done to children. Aries is one of the signs that can rule children, abuse, right? So a lot of lies and deceptions coming forward, which can feel overwhelming and make things weird at times. I almost felt that yesterday too when I was having the anxiety as well. It was like, I'm excited that there's so much being revealed, but at the same time, it kind of freaked me out. At the same time, when I was really grounded in it, it was like, holy crap, this is all actually happening right now. And I'm having to hold this space, and we're all as a community having to hold this space. So I guess, JC, when you asked earlier, where did that come from? That might've been a little bit from where that was coming from.
Well, if you guys watch my show with Jay Widener on a Sunday night, The Wacky Woo, we played a video from Terrence McKenna, who was predicting the times that we're in now. And he said, well, we're going to get to the end of time, or not the end of the world as we know it, but the end of our understanding of time. And he says, you'll know you're there when everything's happening all at the same time. And so we seem to be on that track right now. So if you haven't seen that episode with Jay Widener, go check it out. I think he is going to re-premiere it on his YouTube channel this Saturday night or Sunday night also, if you want to watch it there and participate in his live chat. So yeah, there's that. Now, oddly enough too, there's a new series or a new show that just came out with Ice Cube. So it's a remake of The World of Worlds, and I was like, why now? Again, we're gonna get into the 3i Atlas here, but it seems like we're being primed. Like if we just go back a month or two, the military parade, the 250th anniversary in DC, we had those officials say that they had spoken to an astronaut who was a soldier on the moon fighting a war on behalf of American values. We had that happen. We had the trailer come out for Space Force, where again, our officials are telling us that our enemies are capable of placing bases on the moon and on Mars, and that we need oversight. So we have that coming in, but we're also getting it now from the entertainment industry with this reboot here of World of Words. War of the Worlds. Okay, sorry, it's hard to say for a guy. So, Janine, let me have you pull on this new movie here. What's the timing before it? Because I'm going to play a Jeremy Corbell video in just a moment here too, that suggests that maybe all of this was known ahead of time. What's about to happen here in 2025, and we're being primed for something here. And it could go either way. It could go the fake alien. It could go the real alien invasion. Or it could go a combination of both at the same time. Nevertheless, it seems like all of this is about to break out in the open. So I'm curious about War of the Worlds. And of all the ET movies to bring back, that's the one that had this planet in a sheer panic when they played this over the radio waves so many decades ago, remember? And so I don't know if they're trying to recreate that panic right now. It is the one that was ingrained in a human memory. What's the timing for this one right now? Does that have to do with perhaps what could be coming around the corner this fall?
Well, we've got the 9 of Cups, so there's a desire. So it was put out. They were really excited about putting it out, whoever put it out, whoever's responsible. It's interesting that Ice Cube's got something to do with it, or he's in it, because we've looked at Ice Cube, you and I, Jean-Claude, and I get him for working on the side of good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And outing a lot of bad people. So even if he's been to some of those parties, I don't think he enjoyed them, or he didn't stick around, or he got the heck out of there, because he feels like he's definitely on the side of good, and he's been trying to out for a long time. So that's good to know about him. And then here, this big ace. So they're definitely wishing and desiring to stir something up. So you're saying stir something up. I feel like the desire they're looking for is the stress or worry, believe it or not. They want to get us. It's like they're giving us a heads up about something. Okay. And they think it'll be to our benefit. Okay. Because not getting somebody aware of something and getting them on the edge of their seat about it isn't always a bad thing. Okay. Like being nice about it and downplaying everything sometimes could get you killed. Okay.
Right.
Right. Like I feel like their desire is to keep us sharp and ready and on our toes here in this particular case, because it might work to the advantage of us, right? So not to just be easy going and taking everything in stride, and we need to be watchful. And that's exactly what the cards were saying on Monday night, and with Mark Atwood when I looked at it again. This isn't a time when these guys show up. We can't just relax and be all friendly. Like being friendly is a good thing. I know that. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate email for this, and I am a loving, open-minded person, but at the same time, a lot of really open, loving energy got us into a lot of trouble in the past. We overlooked when demonic energy was present. We overlooked when we were being gaslit, when we were being marginalized, like life was being marginalized. Things were put in front of, like other people's wealth was put in front of human life. So many things we were complacent with. And I feel like this is telling us whatever's going on, they put this out on purpose, and it's to help us stay free and be ready for what's coming.
Mentally ready, and maybe also physically ready. Thank you for that comment. Original War of the Worlds was live radio show in the 1930s, starting Orson Welles. Yeah. So don't move the cards for now. I just want to weave a few things in there that I thought were odd today in terms of timing. So Trump just signed this new executive order to reinstate the presidential fitness test in schools. And I quoted this, you got to be in shape to fight those darn space aliens, hey? Three-Eye Atlas, Mr. Cliff High. And, it made me think of this movie. Remember when we were kids, Starship Troopers, how the whole society was geared into making sure kids were strong, put them into the military. They had a distinction between a civilian class or I forget what the other word was. If you were actual soldier, you had more societal class. I guess I forget what the word was. Citizen? Was it citizen versus a civilian? I forget what it was. At any rate, they were fighting the bugs here, and they were priming the whole planet was engineered to have this fight. And so going back now to War of the Worlds, let's play the trailer to see if there's any weird kind of parsing of the words we can make out there too that could add to the cards. And then Meg, also, if there's anything in the astrology that would suggest that yes, we're being primed for something better, maybe to be more physically fit, maybe to be more psychic also, as in Starship Trooper. They're looking for those special kids that have those psychic abilities here. Let me change slide decks, and I'll share this one with the audience too. We'll play this trailer, and then we'll come back for a little bit more commentary. All right, there you go. This one here.
Hey. See, you took the Sunday graveyard shift again. Dad, when's the last time you left the office?
That's classified.
The surveillance industrial complex is collecting massive amounts of data with the Goliath program. Our most precious resource on Earth is data. And data is food for the superior intelligence.
Dad, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Can you tell yet what they're comprised of?
No, sir. I've never seen anything like this.
Eyewitness video is coming in from all over the world. Terrifying machines rising out of these meteors.
Get away from that! Get out of there! I'm coming for you now!
Okay. Interesting. What I'm getting from that is the data is your food, is their food. So they're talking about food. They're talking about a predatory species here feeding on us. I don't think they're feeding on data, by the way. I think it's probably more adrenochrome and other blood-related products. But I remember the last one also with Tom Cruise, which was interesting. That's about maybe 20 years ago. So we have that recurring theme here being played out. What did you make of the trailer? The data is their food, and what's in the astrology also suggesting that this rehash of World of Words is perhaps more important than just entertainment at this point, Meg?
Mm-hmm. Well, that trailer just made me feel like that's total fear porn. Like they're trying to make us really, really scared, subconsciously and consciously. So that felt really, really weird. And I do feel like one of my predictions right now is when we get into the fall and winter time that these darker arts forces are going to probably try to do a Project Bluebeam, having to do maybe with the 3-eye atlas. We're having Saturn and Neptune retrograde back into Pisces for the last time. They'll be together in Pisces from, I think it's October 22nd, 2025 to February 13th, 2026. And that's a prime time to be trying to do a fake alien invasion, or I keep hearing the word invert what Atlas actually is. So I think it's a time to be really discerning this fall and winter of anything you're seeing in the movies, screens having to do with ETs, invasions. It feels like they're trying to invert what is actually going on. And it makes me think of almost like December 21st, 2012. That was actually a day to celebrate. And I don't know about you guys, but I did go to a festival with some like-minded people, and we did celebrate that, it wasn't the end of the Mayan calendar. It was the end of one part of it and the total new beginning, new cycle, which is actually something to celebrate, the end of a Maya time of illusion. But you looked at the news and you looked at the screens and they were saying, oh, is this going to be the end of the world? Oh my God, what's going to happen? La, 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 la. So it kind of feels like that a little bit.
Yeah. Now, well, thank you for that. Janine, is there anything else you want to add after watching the trailer and the clarifiers on your cards, or do you want me to move to the next segment, Janine?
Well, it makes sense because this says they want you, the desire of the movie, because we looked at the movie, was to get you scared.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if it is coming from the good guys, I feel like they're priming us to be aware and not just be all love and light towards these beings. Maybe there is a there to their dangerous potential, or they just don't know for sure, so they need us on edge.
Yeah.
They don't need us all running up to them. And like with that whole woke agenda, teaching you that diversity is so, you welcome it, but when the cards read on them, their diversity, so they're very different than we are, is so alien, at the risk of using that word in the wrong way, but that we've never seen anything like it. They even said that in the trailer. And it's absolutely foreign to us. So we don't know what they eat, and we don't know how we're involved in that. And we don't know how they see us.
So to be clear, like some people in the chat are saying, oh, they're trying to get us to make it happen, to manifest it. That's not what you're seeing. What you're seeing is, no, they're trying to prep us for it because something's around the corner. That's what you're seeing, Jimmy.
That's what
Okay, let me read something from Cliff Hything. I think it was absolutely apropos. He posted this, is it yesterday or this morning? He says, learn to simply stand, to cultivate a calm, empty mind. Such an attitude of personal composure will serve you well in about 6 months. You have time to practice. Not all humans will cringe, fade, and withdraw. There will be some of us who remain standing to encounter ourselves reflected back from the multitude. It will be glorious. Universe provides tests for humans because it knows we can succeed. Don't give a thought to those who fade. Let them seek their courage in a future body's life. For you, this eternal now, big key forward. I thought, like, he's talking about something here he's seeing. And so he's suggesting here that there's a group of humans who are more predispositioned to perhaps deal with what's coming than some others, and that perhaps we don't need to give too much thought to the others who just won't be able to deal with what's around the corner. I thought this was very apropos. What did you make of this tweet as I read this now? First you, Meg, and then Janine. How does it make you feel?
I think it is really, really important for us to get into that stillness, it's almost like a form of self-mastery, getting as grounded, as calm as possible, emptying ourselves of anything that is, not distraction. I'm having a brain fart, interference.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of interference coming through. And interesting, Janine, when you were just sharing there, I felt that whatever's going on with Atlas, whether it's a comet, whether it's a ship, whatever the heck it is, and sorry, this is going in a different direction for a second, but this is an interstellar object, first of all, okay? So this is outside of our solar system. This is something from somewhere very far away. We're receiving cosmic rays from it. We're receiving totally different energies from it, to where it is affecting our energy. And in my personal opinion, I think it's opening portals that haven't been opened before, to where good and possibly nefarious might be able to commingle for a bit. We're in this in-between time from age of Pisces to age of Aquarius, and we are in a world where there is light and darkness, right? Mm-hmm. So it almost feels like, when you were sharing, Janine, I was getting that sense of there is energy that feels very positive about it, but then there's also energy I'm picking up on with kind of a portal being created where, like, if you're an alcoholic, for example, during these times, you're probably going to see some weird stuff. you might attract some really weird entities, if you're doing things that feed into interference. Does that make sense how I just explained that?
Yeah.
So
Janine,
being just totally mindful of what we're doing,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so for those of you who's like, what are you guys talking about? 3i Atlas. This, as Meg said here, interstellar object. This is the third that we know of. I forget the second name, but the first one was Oumuamua. That kind of did the same thing. It came out from outside of our solar system, came in, did some maneuvers, slingshotted around the sun, and left. But demonstrating some type of non-human intelligence in the way the craft was maneuvering, or the comet was maneuvering. And so now this one, 3i Atlas, was discovered the first week of July, almost exactly on cue, as Cliff was saying. We're going to get more of these ET talks in July. Here we are talking about this in a big time in July here. But this one is magnitudes bigger than Oumuamua, but it's also exhibiting the same type of almost astronomically impossible trajectory, to where it's passing close to these very specific planets coming up here into the center of our solar system. And it appears now, by their calculations, that it would be here sometime in October, November. So that's the time frame of what we're talking about now. And there's a lot of mainstream scientists, astronomers right now, who are suggesting that the way it came at us, in a way to obfuscate our view for the longest time, and from that trajectory, and that to the point where even now, when we found out about it, we do not have time to launch anything from Earth to either divert its trajectory or to go investigate it. We're kind of out of time already to do any reaction to this particular comet. So they're suggesting that even that might have been thought out. And then from that, we can glean maybe some nefarious intentions, or at the very least, some obfuscation of their intentions. So they're saying, hey, this could be some type of invasionary force, or it could be some type of reconnaissance mission here that's playing out something here and trying to hide its intentions from humans. And so that's the debate that was sparked here in July, and that's why we have to look at this. Now, when I said earlier this debate sparked in July, we have a video to play here from Jeremy Corbell. Let me see if we can get to that slide deck here. I'm going to play that video. That's a 2-minute video, which suggests that perhaps this has been known for quite some time, and that we're merely now playing it all out. And the fact that Trump has been absolutely gung-ho on creating this golden dome, and if you recall the episode where Janine and I decoded that, and parsing his words, he talked about threats from outer space. So this wasn't about intercontinental ballistic missiles coming from Russia. It felt much bigger than that, and he was recruiting people and countries around the planet to contribute to this thing all of a sudden, and yet not much mainstream news has been dedicated to understanding why and what that threat might be, but suggesting that maybe they know something we don't. So let me play this video from Jeremy Corbell, and then we'll come back and we'll ask some more questions.
But the lie is coming.
You hear that?
It's pretty low.
All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sent you 2 texts today with a year. Not from me. Nope. I'm not going to propagate that lie. Not going to be part of it. Not going to say it to the camera. Everybody knows. Just start paying attention. And they'll change the date, especially if they see this. Things will change. Because maybe I'm trustworthy. Maybe I'm worthy of your trust. Maybe I've told you the truth the whole way through it. Now you can verify it. If that's the case, then I'm fucking dangerous. You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated. It's been pretty clear. It's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth. Ultimately, they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth. But why they want you to know that truth now? Hope I'm wrong, but it's terrifying. Think about it. Maybe it's good to get ahead of it. Call it out now before they do it. I'll be called crazy. That's okay.
Such a dramatic video. There's a lot of flair to that presentation, guys.
Suspiciously dramatic.
Suspiciously dramatic. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it has to be brought to the conversation. So, are we being played? Is this being planned? Are UFO contactee communities being used to propagate this? Is Jeremy Corbell being used to propagate this inadvertently, telling us it's a lie when it's actually really true? And again, just confusing the hell out of everybody here for some unknown reason. And if you've been watching my show in the last couple of weeks, I did talk about Gosha from Cosmic Agency, who revealed just a couple of weeks ago that she believed that her contacts from the Tagayan team had been infiltrated just recently. And when Janine pulled on that, Janine got that, yeah, indeed, that contact was infiltrated about 6 months ago, I believe, is what was coming up in the cards. So there's a lot happening in the ET community right now, and it's very hard to navigate all that. It's muddied waters to the extreme. So Janine, a lie? Why is it scary if it's just a lie? What is he alluding to here, Corbell? Let's do that first poll. Or how did you ask the question? Let me ask you then, because you pulled before I asked. How did you ask the question here about this particular poll, for the honest?
I said, tell us everything we need to know about what this guy's saying.
Okay.
So what he's saying is true, okay, but flip it around. Okay, so I think there's two things going on. There's going to be a real thing, and there was a fake thing that was going to be run off the real thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I feel like why he said it was so dangerous was because a real thing was going to happen. So I feel like they're going to try, or they had it planned to spin a certain way. So they were going to take the natural occurring thing that they knew was coming. So they probably knew this was coming a long time ago. Maybe this is the thing they heard about, and nobody could change this in project. What's that called? Looking Glass.
Uh-huh.
Maybe, right? I'm just playing around with ideas. But so what he's saying is true, but both things are true, not just the thing he's saying. So both things he's saying are true. So in a way, it's true that they're going to lie to you with fakery, but there is also going to be the real thing. The reason they're going to lie to you is to cover up when the real thing happens, and they're going to downplay the real thing. So it's like a twisted secret upon secrets. And I feel like the White Hat Alliance found out about this, and they're involved now too. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
Right. Wow. Meg, your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. I agree with Janine totally. I think that there is what is naturally occurring and going on, which we don't know yet. It's still very far away. I do think there's probably military or agencies that have the freaking technology to see in really amazing telescopes what exactly it is. I think there's technology beyond our comprehension. That's my personal feeling, that we're not privy to, where they probably know a lot more. Some of these undercover agencies than the public. Astrologically, and I have some slides I can maybe share in a bit, JC, if you want, but the astrology is showing, okay, I'm a Western astrologer, I'm just going to say it, anything going out, happening, having to do with outer space and the Earth right now is actually of positive intent. So if there was anything to be coming to us right now, it's not something negative, like purely of an evil ship that wants to come and screw us over. That's astrologically what I'm seeing actually not able to happen. We know
or can I put a caveat in there? Or there might be something negative coming, but ultimately it's very positive for humanity because we break this boil, the secrecy of the space program, and it brings us into a sci-fi world. And we're finally addressing this as adults moving forward, as opposed to the decades and maybe hundreds of years of secrecy we've had. Okay. Meg, do you want to look at the astrology itself for 3i Atlas? I think that would be important. And that's why we wanted you on the show tonight. I know you've put a lot of research into that. Let me bring up your slide deck here for the audience. Okay, unpack this for us here. What are we looking at, Meg?
Yeah, well, you took the words out of my mouth, JC, because I was going to say, on the flip, if I am wrong, I was literally going to say what you just said. On the flip, if it happens to be something really dark, with the transits right now, I mean, it will be very good for humanity. So no matter what this is, it's actually helping us out. So 3i Atlas is an interstellar object that is now within, sorry, there's a typo, our solar system. Like you said, JC, we've had two before that we have known about. Oumuamua in 2017 and Ti Boris in 2019. This one is way bigger. This thing is huge. We supposedly don't even know how big it is, but it's said to be between 7 to 13 miles, like in width. So this is a very
I heard
big.
something the other day. They said as big as Manhattan. So
right.
Big chunk. Yeah.
Right.
Much
very
bigger
big
than Oumuamua. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is now sharing its energies with our whole solar system, and it's crossed Jupiter's orbit. And in particular, making its closest proximity to Mars. It's almost going to hit Mars if you watch what it's doing when it comes into the solar system. Carrie Cassidy did an amazing video. I don't know what day she put it out, but if you go to her channel, she had David Sereda on, and he was playing some videos of how Atlas is going to come in and almost hit Mars. It's unbelievable. Also get really close to Venus, Jupiter, as well as the Earth. This object was discovered, we were told, on July 1st, 2025, while Uranus, the planet that rules ET's outer space, was at 29 degrees of Taurus, a critical degree. So this is a critical thing that it happened on date. This is a critical information, a critical moment. Uranus entered Gemini on July 7th, opening up potential for more space ET phenomena. Some of you guys might remember, I was saying that whole week when Uranus entered Gemini, get ready because the outer space, ET, cosmic origins, this is about to really kick off into a whole nother level. During the month of July, the knowledge and peculiarity of this object has gotten more known and widespread. Uranus will be back in Taurus one last time from September 6, 2025 to April 26, 2026. Even though Uranus is at fall position in Taurus, that's its weakest position, during Atlas's closest proximity to Earth in November and December, Uranus will be in beautiful, positive, strong aspects, very rare positive aspects to the other two most outer planets, Neptune and Pluto. Okay, and Pluto, by the way, is what we want to be looking at if there's anything we think might be nefarious. If Pluto's in a bad aspect, okay, not going to be good. If Pluto's in a good aspect like it is, whatever happens, whether it's good or bad, this is actually going to be a positive transformation. So both placements beneficial for contact of space objects, ETs, things that are not of this world. Anything you guys want to add there before I go on?
Yeah, just a few clarifications. Let me bring this up. I'll go to my deck. So Oumuamua, so let's go remove this one and add this one. I believe this one was like half a mile. Okay, 400 meters long. That's it. Whereas this one, 3i Atlas, is 0.1 to 11 kilometers. They're not sure, but still much bigger than the other one if it's up to 11 kilometers long here, or 6.8 miles. So big difference. And the interview you're talking about, guys, if you want to go watch that, it's this one here from Kerry Cassidy with David Sarita. A lot of good information in there, a lot of details as per Avi Loeb, the scientist who discovered this, and some of his calculations. I thought that was fascinating. The timing of some of the stuff here, to me personally, was a little too biblical in some cases, and it sounded a lot like, dare I say, Bo Polney. So some of the dates are dead on, some were just off of it. He seems to be making the math fit for his narrative. My personal opinion, maybe I just don't understand his calculation. So take that with a grain of salt when you watch this. But there is still a lot of weird ass coincidences that go to the point that this thing is intelligent. It's doing something that no just regular comet that was thrown through space would do. The odds of that are absolutely almost impossible now. So for that, I really did appreciate this video. For the biblical stuff and dates, I had some issue with that, but you guys make it of your own, what you think of that. Okay, Meg, let me bring up back your chart here. There, if you want to continue for let's go ahead.
I agree with you, JC. Those parts I was actually tuning out of it, like this calculation to this date. I was like, okay, this is so technical. I don't even know what this dude is talking about. But I really appreciated how he showed the that astronomer website, and he was very good at detailing the orbits and
it was cool. Yeah,
very interesting dates too. Okay, we'll maybe get to that. So
hey, Sunny, is that Sunny from Pluto?
Sunny, yeah.
Hey, Sunny. Okay. I just picked up a comment. I'm like, hey, that looks like Sunny. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Sunny. Okay, yes, keep going there, Meg.
Yeah, so I think I might have already said Uranus, the planet that rules outer space, ETs in very special positive aspects for the whole rest of the year. Astrologically, it's likely to be more of a positive interstellar object rather than an adverse one. Okay. When Saturn and Neptune are back in Pisces together from October 22nd, 2025 to February 13th, 2026, this can be a window of time when darker forces may try to invert the true meaning of Three-Eye Atlas. Neptune and its home sign of Pisces rules lies, illusions, brainwashing, mind control, screens, anything that's being projected. Also, Sunny and I earlier were feeling like things might get projected on the skies. Okay. So if you're going to be, because I think they have that kind of technology, some of you may think I'm like crazy for saying that, but I do think they can project things in the skies. So be very discerning during this time. Three-Eye Atlas's closest proximity to Earth will be on December 19th, 2025. This is very special. Okay, this is 2 days before our solstice. This is the day after a new moon in Capricorn. So this is a divine blessing because on December 19th, 18th, 20th, it's a new moon. You can go stargazing, and it's the best viewing time to see for yourself what the heck actually is this thing. So go out and see this object for yourself if you feel to, as far out in nature, away from a city. Go into a wilderness area if possible. Best viewing time is right before dawn. On this day, Atlas will be located in the eastern part of the constellation of Leo in the sidereal zodiac. Altitude will be about 10 to 15 degrees above the eastern horizon shortly before sunrise. So I'm so grateful whoever gives a crap, we can actually look for ourselves and see what this is outside of a screen, outside of a photograph. Like, go look yourself, maybe get a little telescope or something.
Right. Good advice. Okay. Now, generally speaking, this year, like moving out of Three-Eye Atlas's astrology per se, what are the big indicators or milestone that maybe revert back 200-300 years or maybe thousands of years that bring us into another event in human history that was a game changer? If you were to plot some of those alignments this year, what would they be? The ones that you would say, hey, this is significant here for many reasons, and we haven't been here before, or at least we haven't been here with the technology we have now and the consciousness we have now. What would you say, Meg?
Oh my gosh, there's multiple things. I think probably the biggest thing is the fact that we're leading up to a Saturn-Neptune conjunction, 0 degrees, strongest degree in Aries, February 20th, 2026. We're in that Saturn-Neptune conjunction this whole time for the whole, pretty much next year. And Sunny and I earlier, we went on to ChatGPT and we asked ChatGPT, what historical events happen when there's Saturn-Neptune conjunctions? Literally all the craziest world events happen in Saturn-Neptune conjunctions. Very big world, society, governmental, health, consciousness shifts. So I think that's what we're in the energy of, and there's no going back to what was before. And that could also be, again, why some of us are feeling so physically weird. There may not be necessarily something wrong with you. I'm not saying don't get checked up if you feel really, really weird, but this is the ascension. This is us entering the age of Aquarius and the great big shift, and we're being affected on every level.
Now, if we are to encounter ETs in a big way, and there's enough data to suggest that maybe that's exactly what's about to happen, from all the ET contactees, all the weird turmoil we're seeing there, the fight for the narrative of control there, what we're seeing with Space Force, their announcement, what we saw, the military parade in DC, and Trump's Golden Dome, all are leading to, we're probably going to have relationships here with other than humans at some point. That brings us into the conversation of using our innate skills to be able to understand who's in front of us and what their intentions are. A big thing that Janine had twice already this week was that they're not cut from the same cloth, and we are going to have one hell of a struggle understanding their intentions. We might get it completely wrong. We might get it to some extent where we fall into that fear frequency. We might go into the love and light frequency completely wrong. All of it because we don't have those tools yet to really discern and have the empathy to connect on that level with these new entities. Can you describe again, Janine, for people who maybe are just logging in now, why you were getting that in the last couple of days and why that's so important to focus on that right now, to be that master of self in terms of your emotions, but also to be able to use these muscles that perhaps we haven't been using, that was squashed by some of the technology we're using today. We're losing that empathy and that ability to connect other than what we know in terms of human emotion, human body language, and actual languages out there. Why is it so critical right now, Janine?
Well, I feel like I want to tell a story around that.
Sure.
So when I'm out in nature, and when I was studying with a medicine man here in Haida Gwaii many years ago, we were taught to go out in nature and look at natural like animals and birds and even tree life and everything without what we were taught about them, to like kind of lose the ego or the interpretive ideas, intellectual ideas we were taught or brought up with about these creatures or plants or whatever it was we were encountering in nature, and open our mind, kind of like what Cliff was saying, completely empty it of your ego interpretation and what you were told about something, because you're going to be observing something that makes no logical sense in your world. You haven't met anything like this. And the cards were being really clear about that. So it wasn't saying be afraid. It was saying be neutral. So the Justice card is neutral, and move from instinct. Let your soul, intuitive body self tell you, are you in danger? Are you okay? What's going on? Right? Because your intellect and the voiceover that happens because you were taught things about certain things is going to tell you how to behave, when in fact you could be overriding what your instinct will tell you, what your body's going to tell you about what's going on.
Right. That's really good advice, Janine. Hey, guys, with us tonight, I have a special guest also. Of course, it's the one and only Jens. You can find his work, of course, on the consultation page here on Beyond Mystic and also on the Academy. He just launched an intuitive impact coaching session here on the Academy. With us tonight, Jens, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jens.
Excited to have you on, Jans, for this conversation. It feels very timely. Of course, this has been planned for months in our calendar of new products that are being developed on Beyond Mystic. But in one of our last planning sessions with Janine earlier this year, coming out of the conference, we were looking at empathy and tools for humankind here moving forward into this brave new world. And it had to address many breakdowns in society to where we had to go within to get the answers as opposed to all of these external validations. So there came the idea for a lot of our workshops, including now this empathic coaching session. How do you see the timing of this now that we have 3i Atlas coming up and the fact that we may very soon have to use those skills and to brush off perhaps the rust of some of those skills here moving forward into the fall season, if in fact here we are confronted with other beings? And how does the practice from that start with other humans? Jans?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's all about energy, right? Because you know, we're evolving more into our empathic abilities as humans. We can be more discerning of energy. We're getting all more psychic. The world wakes up, and with the waking up also comes the spiritual awareness and the discernment of energies. And everything is energy. So as with people, sometimes you get a little bit of a feeling about some people, like maybe he looks nice or he acts nice, but I have a little bit of a feeling. That's our intuition saying maybe this guy doesn't have the best intentions. This man or woman doesn't have the best intentions for you. And I think the same thing goes with the aliens, because I'm sure we're going to see contact. It's going to happen. Now there's going to be a lot of spin around it. And of course we also have the good aliens. The ones who are more positively oriented towards us. And then we have the ones who who might want to present themselves as being good, but might want to get something from us. And I think that's where the discernment comes in, and they be able to discern the energy. As to what their true intentions are, and especially listening to our intuition about how they're feeling. So I think that's going to be the main challenge of our times, is when we finally have contact, and when it's coming more, is really discerning what is spin, who are the good guys, who are not the good guys. It's going to be a mess, I think, in the beginning. It's going to be a little bit chaotic, but I think when we ground ourselves, when we center ourselves, and when we cut out all the noise around it, we'll be able to to do that. I'm not going to say I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park. I think it's going to be a challenge, especially in the beginning, to really find our footing, because it's going to be a whole new reality that is being put on humanity, because it's something that we haven't experienced before. It's going to be very exciting, because a confirmation of or more official. We all know alien life exists, right? But more official confirmation of alien life, where the people in I don't like to use the word, but I'm going to use it anyway. The normies are going to be also confronted with that. It's going to be very exciting, but it's going to be a challenge. But I think we get there, and we got to trust our discernment and our intuition.
Right. Now, on the ET, first, thank you for that, Jans, and I'm going to come back here to your empathic coaching session for the audience. But in this video, this just came out 2 days ago. I was talking about this with Cliff High, again, in the context of us seeing the muddied waters in the ET contactee community. Here, both of these individuals were presumably propping up or in support of Elena Danaan in the last number of years in her narrative of Thor Han, one of her ET contacts. And in this video, a big turnaround is happening now to where it appears, based on some of the things they're saying in this video, that Thor Han contact was actually disguised as a benevolent being, and that perhaps Elena Danaan had been duped by this disguise here over the last number of years. So we're seeing more of that come out. Now, I don't know if that is accurate or not. I'm just suggesting that this is what's being explained here in this 2-hour video with Michael Sala. Now, if that is the case, so people are having as you mentioned here, we have a gut feeling when we're in a room with somebody, hey, that guy's a little bit off, or that person's a little bit off. We have those intuitions and those empathic feelings, but how do we translate those empathic feelings perhaps to contact that are not yet physical. Like a lot of humans right now are going through this process of being contacted, whether that's in sleep, whether that's in the astral realm, or perhaps even just through this weird telecommunication that could be akin to telepathy. How do we know who's contacting us, and what are the tools, perhaps here too, in the empathy realm, Jans, to maybe decipher from those who might be wearing masks using those technologies here to present as something else? I know that's hard to do with humans, and perhaps we get fooled more than we would want to admit, but here we're talking maybe about other races that are using completely new technologies that we don't even know about yet. So again, going back to within and using that those tools and that empathy, how can that help us navigate what is happening right now and perhaps what is going to be accelerating here in the next couple of months? Jans?
Yeah, interesting. And before I answer your question, I want to come back to what you said about Ila Danan or what is being reported on her. And I read her books a few years ago, and I had a feeling when I read her books, like, you know, it was very out there information, quite interesting, you know, but at a certain point, it wasn't resonating with me anymore. And, you know, I just like, you know, put it aside actually. And I didn't look at it anymore again, because I had a weird feeling about it. I thought it was very fear-based. And I had a feeling like it kept popping into my mind, is this really true? When I was reading the book. So, you know, it's interesting what you're saying there, that you know, maybe information that may not be totally true. So and I kind of just let it go, because it didn't resonate anymore with me, and I just let it go.
Let me just add to that before you get into the empathy too, and I need to be responsible, to be honest, because I interviewed Elena Danan quite a few times on my previous channels. And it came to a point where I was very much interested in this subject, and I wanted to get the points of view from different contactees, because they were all getting slightly the same message, but also a different fractal of those messages. And I thought having that bigger, broader brush of information and contactees coming in, I could build a better tableau or a better radar as to what was happening. And at that time, a lot in that community were having issue with that. And we were seeing this, well, my ET is better than their ET, so don't talk to those guys. So there was a little bit of that censorship going on, and I didn't appreciate that. Of course, I want to interview the people I want to interview on my show. And so Elena didn't come back on my show after that fact. So again, guys, you have to use your own discernment here moving forward, but all of this is coming to bear now. Now, whether you look at the position of Corey Goode, admitting that a lot of the stuff that he was talking about on Gaia was fabricated, that it was in fact his intellectual property. It's brought a lot of mud into this sphere. So because there's even more mud, we need to rely even more now on those inner skills. So Jan, going back to that question now, hard to do with humans, hard to do with contactees and humans. What are we going to do here with perhaps other technologies and other beings using technologies to manipulate us and to confuse us? How does that empathic skill here help us moving forward, Jens?
I think it's about, well, first of all, I think it's about trusting yourself and trusting yourself that you will resonate, that if you state the intention, I will resonate with truth and I want truth. And I want to find out truth. And if you state that as your intention, then trust yourself that will happen for you. Like, don't second guess yourself about it. So that's very important. I think it's mostly about resonance. Same thing like about Corey Goode, for example. In the beginning, I got into his story, and then I had a feeling like this might not be true, and I just let it go. So, but that only came after a while. So in the beginning, I was also interested, and you know, there's this new guy on the scene with the blue avian thing and stuff like that. But then I just let it go, and I think that's the pointer. I think there is if you want truth, and if you set that to have that as your intention, there is a natural resonance that will take place, and you will let it. Like with Corey Goode, I never could prove that he made it up. Of course, he admitted in court. I saw the videos where he admitted in court he made it up, right? So I never could prove that. But I just had a feeling, and I just followed my feeling. So follow your inner voice. Follow the inner voice that, you know, if you feel like, I just don't want to watch that guy anymore. It doesn't seem interesting anymore. Then just you know, follow on that instead of thinking, oh, this guy is like the new hot thing and I need to see him. If you get like that inner prompting, you know, just follow the natural. I think it's, and when we can, but of course it's hard when there's a lot of static and a lot of noise around it, or when it's exciting. I think that's the challenge, is listening to that inner voice, and that can only be done by, for example, by cutting out the noise, by meditation, by, sometimes detoxing from social media, by grounding, by doing, some form of spiritual practice really helps with sharpening that tool of intuition. And I think if you do that, it will be a lot easier to cut out the noise and to let that inner voice come forward, that we all have, and that is there for every person, that we all can rely on. And one last thing I want to add is, like you said, JC, in that community, also in that, space, spiritual community with the Gory Goods and the Eladonans, there's also a lot of ego. And, they want to be like the top dog and the one who brings forth the information. And that's why, if, for example, if you have a source telling you something, if, for example, you are a channel and your resonance will already determine what, kind of information comes through. But if you're like in the ego and you want to be, be the top, if there's a form of ego, that's where darker energies can latch on to.
Yeah.
Because it's the ego they can latch on to. And for example, if somebody really wants fame and money, and that's like a real drive of them. I'm not saying that it's bad to be, I'm not saying it's bad to be driven and to be passionate. But there's a part where, if it's for the ego, like you were saying, like they want to be the top dog and the best, and they're lying for it, because the ego, that's where they're prepared to like lie, or to to make things more sensationalistic, a lot more sensationalistic than they are. That's right. Where dark forces can hack into that and can actually channel information that is not correct. So that's something also, as people who channel, or as people who deal with this kind of information, need to look out for.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So on one hand, having that ego can attract the bad frequency and the bad infiltration of that communication, or that message coming in. But on the other hand, too, as you were saying that, I said, oh, we have to look at it the other way, too, because as a kid, I watched the X-Files, and I remember this poster, and I, too, would say, I want to believe, I wanted to believe that there was more to this earth than what we knew, right? So I have this desire to understand the world around me, perhaps more than some other people who just they don't look up at the stars, they don't really care, they're content with what they understand of this matrix of control. For me, I always wanted to believe that there was more to it, and this is embodied in this poster. But that too now, so this is the opposite of having the ego. Here, you're perhaps a little bit too eager, you perhaps have a little bit too much naivete in the realm, but that also can get you into trouble, into some of these ETs might be using you for nefarious purposes. So it's a mix of all of that brought together. You guys are smiling, Meg and Janine. Meg, let me start with you, Janine. Your thoughts on all of this? Where are we going with this? Using all of our empath tools or sensibilities here to navigate these comms here, not just now with humans, but also perhaps in front of us here with ETs. What would you say? Oh, you're muted on your side, Janine.
The whole, the work we're doing now, learning to trust ourselves, learning to be discerning, like being handed all kinds of false news on the daily. Everybody's throwing it at us, the psyops that have been going on. We're like actually unpacking them and discerning what's true about it and what isn't. And sometimes it's just for the sake of entertainment. I'm telling you, some of them don't have an answer to what it is, or they're setting something up for a later thing. On layering and layering. So it's all of this soup that we're in right now is training us, I think. I think we're being trained to be sharper and do exactly, again, what Cliff said, to stand in front of these beings and not assume anything one way or the other. We're going to stand there and feel, if we get that close, and if we happen to be, if the universe puts us that close, we're going to feel our way through it with our intuition and our instinct. And we're going to have to trust our body self, because if we're in danger, our body will tell us. You'll have a reaction in your body.
Yeah. That's really good. I thank you, Janine, for that. Meg, any thoughts on I want to believe some of the pitfalls here of dealing with other beings and using all of our tools here to communicate moving forward? What would you say?
Yeah, well, I agree with Jens and Janine. You know, discernment is so important because, especially with channelers, a lot of people follow channelers almost like they're spiritual teachers. Sometimes everything they say is the gospel truth. And the truth is, there's a lot of channelers that are not the real deal, right? There are some who are. In my personal journey, people like Barbara Marciniak and Barbara Clow, you know, the Pleiadian channelings, some of the Pleiadian channelings totally changed my life and was really positive on my journey and resonated with me when I read those books in 2012. It just totally resonated with me on every single level. And then if there's some channelers where you're just not resonating with it, even if a lot of people are like, oh my God, Bashar said this, and that means that's going to happen. Okay, well, Bashar also said, Yenzi, what did he say? Like, go put your mask on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he fully promoted the jabs and the masks. And
yeah. And, you know, there's some other people out there that literally had programs and they know who they are, put out workshops and programs. It's safe to go get the shot and I'll cleanse it for you with my channeling.
Right.
So discernment is so important right now because someone may look really good. They might have a really good background behind them and be making interesting sounds when they're channeling, you know, but not everybody's the real deal. You actually have to be in a very high level of self-mastery and in a very high vibration to even be doing that properly, right? So, I just echoing what you guys are saying.
I believe in most of the cases you've just mentioned, I'll be diplomatic here, there's probably ill intent from the channeler, right? Probably. But in some cases, there's no ill intent. People are actually wishing they're doing the right thing. Maybe they're too naive. Maybe they have too much ego, and they are being thwarted. And nonetheless, that communication is now corrupted somehow, and it's leading the humanity in the wrong path. So, again, very important, guys, to use your own discernment here moving forward. And I agree with Janine. We are being trained with all this AI stuff. Like, everything's fake. Like on Twitter right now, I don't post half of the stuff I see anymore because I'm like, I just don't know. And you can't chase the story down anymore. And if it doesn't feel good and it's not a hell yes, I'm reposting it. I don't post it. So that's where I'm at with that. Jens, so let's talk about like in a very practical way here. Let me go to your empath coaching session here on the Academy. What can people expect here coming into it? People might have different abilities already. Some people might have completely dormant empathic skills. What can they expect here in this 1 hour session with you here on the consultation page? Jens.
Well, first of all, in the beginning of the session, I'm going to listen to the person and listen to where they are at, what their intention is, and then we're going to work together. And it can go any way. We might do like a little meditation together, but mostly it's like a coaching session where I rely on my journey as an empath, and because it was a long journey, and I remember when people have challenges with their intuitive gifts, like, for example, we're going in times now with the rising frequencies that is coming on the earth. A lot of people, their psychic gifts are going to be opened. And so, that can be very challenging. And so I'm going to guide you in that when you're dealing with that, because I remember 20 years ago when it came up for me, I was like, I was in my early 20s. And I suddenly started feeling like the auras of people and the emotions of people, and it was so annoying. And now, after a long healing journey that is still busy, of course, it never ends. I'm a lot, it doesn't bother me anymore. Of course, still energy can feel, because I feel energy sometimes. Energy can still feel like nasty or annoying, but it doesn't affect me anymore the way it used to do. And I remember sitting, for example, next to a person and feeling the person's emotions and like being totally like, it was just super annoying and super hard. And I just want to help people with that because I've been through the mill, so to speak, and I know how annoying it can be. So it can be good for people when they experience stuff like that. It does need to be the same, of course. You can, like empathy, like an empath is usually a person who can sense energies, which is called clairsentience, but
Right.
it can be claircognizance, it can be clairaudience, it can be anything basically. So, and it can be very hard when those basically psychic senses open up, and to navigate that world.
And you raise a good point, because in some cases, people who are going to come to you with a coaching session, they want to turn up the volume on their empathic skills so that they can navigate this world even better. But for some people, it's the opposite. They want to bring the volume down because they are completely emotionally frayed by feeling everybody's emotions around them too. And that's where you help them. You're talking about all these experiences, you being an empath as a young kid, and having gone through the ringer, as you said. So I really appreciate that. Guys, check it out, beyondmystic.academy. If you check out, the Beyond Mystic consultation page here on the website, check it out. If you use the coupon code Beyond Mystic in one word, you get 10% off. I really recommend you give it a try and have this conversation, and perhaps use those skills also after your coaching session with Jans to maybe have those conversations and to transmit those skills to your kids. They're going to have a big role to play here moving forward as well. And they might be having a lot of issues with some of these energies right now as well. So you can help yourself and also help your family members here going forward. Meg and Janine, before we go, we have quite a few prizes to give away here tonight too. Did I miss anything on 3i Atlas, on the astrology for the year coming up in these couple of months? Is there anything else that's pressing that you think, hey, before we give away some prizes here, that you think we missed as we were planning the show earlier this week? Let's go with you, Meg, first. Astrology-wise, anything else I'm missing?
I guess just one thing I didn't mention yet is that, and I cannot say this word correctly, but the perihelion, which is the point when 3i Atlas is closest to the sun, perihelion, that's like an astrological term, is on October 30th, which happens to be my birthday, the day before Samhain. So 3i Atlas will be closest to the sun on Samhain, one of the sacred points that we know the veils are at their thinnest, where we're receiving the sun rays, literally sun rays from the sun, but also 3i Atlas through the sun rays. So this upcoming Samhain, Halloween, whatever you like to call it, that will be a portal of very powerful energies where I think some of us may have spiritual experiences or even paranormal experiences that we've never even had before. And again, just going back to Samhain during Scorpio season, that can be used for good or for bad. So just being really mindful what you're doing for the whole rest of the year, but around then in particular. And also what's being projected onto us. There may be some big lies around that time being projected.
Okay, very good. I'll keep Janine for last. We might do a last poll with you, Janine. So keep your your thought there, Janine. Let's give away some prizes here with Meg. If you guys go to thescorplingshop.com, she has these amazing new Lucky Charms on sale. Which one did you want to give away this evening, Meg? What do you think? We
can give away one of the Larimars.
Ooh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Speak about the Larimar a little bit, Meg.
Larimar is a beautiful crystal that is only found in the Dominican Republic. Very special, and it's a beautiful one. Jens and I have both worked with Larimar. Have you ever worked with it, JC or Janine? Larimar?
I have not. No. I did buy some in the DR for Sarah the last trip I went to, but I've never actually worked with it when I did Reiki or sound healing. I wasn't aware of that crystal at the time. No.
Yeah, so that's a super powerful one connected to ancient Atlantis. That one in particular in our Lucky Charm set, all these charms, by the way, help you to unlock the blessings of the Jupiter and Cancer transit, very positive transit for the whole next year that's lucky as well. Larimar in particular helps us with our emotions. And interesting, we're talking about empaths in cleansing out emotional baggage that is not ours, or we've been holding on very heavy from our family, from, as you know, most of us, I think here are empaths in our community. We hold on from people, places, things. So Larimar helps us to, in a healthy way, process our emotions. And there's been times when Jens and I have worked with Larimar where we've had to taken it off or kind of put it aside for a moment, because that's how powerful it is. You feel emotional with it. Do you want to say anything to that, Jensi? Have you felt that?
No, absolutely. I was thinking when you recommend to the people working with Larimer, I was like, good luck, because it's an intense stone.
It's an intense stone.
It's like,
yeah.
It brings a lot of hidden emotions to the surface.
Okay. Well, let's give one away tonight. The right person is going to get this, of course. Meg, do you have a question for the audience members? We'll pick from the live chat to give away the Larimar. What do you think?
Okay. What is the day that 3i Atlas will be within closest proximity to Earth?
Guys, that's an easy one. She just said it 2 minutes ago. Rewind the tape. So there you go. While we wait for that to populate, of course, you can find those beautiful stones at the scorplingshop.com. I believe if you use coupon code Beyond Mystic, there's 10% off. Meg, is that
Yeah,
correct?
I don't know why the code isn't on there, but yeah, there's Beyond Mystic 10% off code, and we do have limited quantities available. We're sold out now of the pink Lemurians, but we've still got the blue topaz, Larimar, and ruby feldspar.
Okay, very good. And for the audience members who want to have a reading with you, Meg, also, and maybe who want to plot this year, a lot of weird things and changes happening in the world, from the financial system to perhaps damn ETs. What would you recommend for them here in terms of navigating the astrology for themselves?
Yeah, well, the one I'm recommending at the moment, follow whatever you feel like you want to do, but definitely the personal forecast of your year ahead with the astrological transits, because this is really special once-in-a-lifetime stuff we have got going on right now, where I can help you navigate that consciously to get the most out of it.
Okay, sounds good. BeyondMystic.consultations, guys, check it out. Coupon code there to 10% off is Beyond Mystic in one word. Okay, Meg, let me know when to stop the feed and we'll pick the winner.
So we might have had a bit of a Mercury retrograde moment, because I'm going to say to you, JC, what the day is in the chat.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying the day of perihelion, which is when Atlas is closest to the sun.
But that's not what you asked.
No, that's not what I asked. When is it closest to the Earth?
Right.
I messaged you.
There's a few good questions. So when you tell me to stop the chat, I'll scroll up until I see the right answer. Okay, go ahead. Let me know.
Stop.
Okay. So my cursor will move up. Actually, right there, Ed01, December 19th. Yeah, there you go. Congratulations. Send me an email. Go to beyondmystic.net. Top corner. Just fill out the tech support form. Ed01. Congratulations, and we'll get Sunny and Meg to send you this crystal. And check out the Sunny and Meg Beyond Crystal show also every Thursday. Or is it Wednesday now? Thursday?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, check it out there, guys, on the Rumble chat. Okay, next up, maybe Jans, you want to do the honors. I have some Beyond Mystic t-shirts to give away. These are brand new productions here from Carla at AscensionOrganites.com. Really cool. So we have the Setting Ravens in the white t-shirts. And also the Beyond Mystic in the black t-shirts. Right now, if you use the coupon code there, Beyond Mystic, also you'll get 10% off. We'll give away one of each of these here tonight. Really cool t-shirts. Check it out, AscensionOrganites.com. Jan's questions for the audience members. I think what we'll do is, if you ask one question, we'll pick two winners at the same time. And then we'll sort out whether or not they're female t-shirts or male t-shirts with Carla through emails. We'll try to run this a little bit faster. So question for the audience members. Yeah.
I think, I don't know, this might be an easy one, but there's, so we were talking about Corey Good, but there's one guy who actually, interviewed Corey Good a lot and who made him famous. So who is that guy?
Okay, that's a good one too. While we wait for that to populate, of course, you can find Jans's work here on the consultation page at beyondmystic.net, and you can find his work also, including the meditations and astral healing meditation, of course, the last one here on the Academy. Jans, what's coming up also on the Academy? What's next for you there? I know you guys are working on stuff here for the summer and fall season here on Beyond Mystic Academy. What's coming up for you next year?
Yeah, I'm doing my meditation. So I'm doing the weekly the bi-monthly meditation next in August, and it's 3:00 at night. I have a brain fart. I don't know what the exact title.
That's okay. I'll laugh, Coco. We'll put it up. But guys, stay tuned. Jan has more coming up here on the Academy, and a lot of courses there as well. You can go check them out at beyondmystic.academy. We're currently right now, yes, it's the annual summer sale, midsummer sale, 50% off everything on the Academy for courses and workshops that were launched before August 2025. If you use the coupon code there, summer50, you'll get 50% off. Okay, Jans, let me know when to stop, and we'll pick 2 winners here.
Stop.
All right. Listening to Discern, David woke up. That's one. And the one on top, Maja DT. So both of you, congratulations. Send me an email, and we'll get Carla to send it out to you. And for you guys, if you're interested in these amazing t-shirts, they're really cool. They're really comfortable. I just got mine last week too. I don't know if I have him here. Check them out. Really cool. Beyond Mystic is a code word, 10% off, sendingravens.com. And finally, we have to give away some beautiful soaps that Janine absolutely loves. Everybody loves these soaps from floradinfarm.ca. Of course, Adine, who has these amazing botanical organic soaps for you guys here. Janine, do you have a question for the audience members to give away a pack of soaps?
I do. It's more of a personal one, but I've been talking about this for a week and a half.
Okay.
What happened in my backyard this weekend?
Okay.
One word.
And no, it wasn't Dusty Bum who got his tail bit off. Nope, that was last year. So what happened in Janine's backyard this last weekend? If you've been watching the show, you know, of course. So we'll wait for that to populate. In the meantime, of course, yes, please do go and peruse floradinfarm.ca. BM10, there's the code if you want to get some of these amazing soaps. And you might want to check out also for your dog this amazing, let me see how she says that in English. Let me go back to the English page. There you go. I think it's Paws and Trails. This amazing little bundle here. Yeah, Trails and Paws. You want to check it out. So really cool products there. We're trying that on our dog right now too. Absolutely loves it. So go check it out. Trails and Paw, and also the amazing soaps here on floradinfarm.ca. Okay, so Janine, let me know. Let me go to the bottom of the chat here. We'll pick a winner. Let me know when to stop the feed.
Stop.
Hold on. Stop. There you go. Cindy Haynes. Wedding, yes. There was a wedding in Janine's backyard. Cindy, if you go to beyondmystic.net, top of the page, hit that tech support form. Let us know you're the winner, and we'll get that soap kit to you ASAP. While you're there, also, if you love these shows, if you want to support us, check out the IAP. The Insider Access Pass is off right now at 50% off the coupon code. The code is IAP15. Or you can try pay to play here per episode for our pay-per-view at $3.99 per episode, about the price of a cup of coffee, and you get to see all the news and stay on top of all this crazy madness here. You can find that at beyondmystic.net. So Janine, let me get back to you here as we wind out the show. Do you want to do maybe just advice from universe? It very much seems like that humanity is at a crossroads. And again, if you look at the interview I did with Jay Weiner just a couple of days ago, it very much feels like the Terence McKenna prediction is right on par now, where everything is happening all at the same time, right? And so we're discovering now that this is kind of leading to a big change and a big shift for humanity, one that we've never experienced before, right? And this is what propels us into commonly a new reality here. Some will fade away and some will strive in that time here. So let me bring up your card deck here and let's try to pull some advice from universe on how to deal with all of that. And if you're looking for that episode, guys, with Jay Weiner, you're looking for this poster here. Only part of the episode was on YouTube. We did get into some Epstein stuff, so I had to cut the YouTube feed. So you're looking for the July 27th Wacky Woo show. Fascinating, deep conversation there. If you haven't seen it, please do go and check it out. All right, Janine.
Isn't it sad that we're still being censored on YouTube?
Oh, I know.
It's pathetic, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the universe. So this is us. That's a warrior card. Okay, and this is what the universe wants us to do. in these times. So this is interesting. The magician. So the magician is really light on their feet. They move really quickly. It aligns with Mercury. So things are really quick moving and thinking really fast. Magical thinking comes to mind here too. Magical thinking. So we're going to need to be agile mentally, think with our, think fast. We can't get stuck in the mud just because 3 years ago we thought this, like things are moving fast and changing fast. We have to keep up with it. Agility mentally seems to come to mind when I see that. We're definitely in store to know alien life form better, and it's already here. We're just gonna, come into a closer proximity with really what it is. So it's already been around because this is in the past, that card, and that's an alien card. And then here, the Hanged Man. So it's sitting here, it's in plain sight. So I feel like the veils are going to come down on who's alien form here and who isn't. I feel like we won't probably need those sunglasses like the movie. Remember that movie where you had to put on the sunglasses?
They live, yeah.
Yeah, and I know in that movie they were seeing evil and demonic, but I feel like there's gonna be good and bad, like people have been mentioning. I know that there's good and bad, but they're among us already, and it's just a timing thing. And we're getting prepared. So spiritually, we're being prepared. We're being marinated for that. We need to trust the process, bring our warrior with us, but also our agility. Be prepared to move quickly, whether that's mentally or physically. Some people will be facing having to move physically. Myself, if I was in that position, I'd be in a little trouble. I'm like, the old knees can't handle it. But, I'm hoping I don't have to run away from any aliens or anything. But I am definitely mentally agile. That part I've been sharpening up on, and I feel good about that. Here we've got the Strength card in the near future. We're going to become stronger and more powerful because of all of this. Okay, we're going to become more of who we already are. We're going to like the layers will come off. All the spell casting has been coming off, and we're really beginning to show our true colors as the human peoples. They're like mystical beings. We're really mystical, really, and I feel like we're going to really come into ourselves through this. But it is going to be tricky, and we are going to have to bring like some game to it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's great advice, Janine. If you're going to bring some game.
Cung Khôn Ninh là tẩm cung của Hoàng hậu, chính cung mẫu nghi thiên hạ, nơi của phụ nữ thiên hạ. Cung dát vàng, óng ánh, có 9 gian rộng. Gian chính giữa có 2 lò sưởi bên, có diện mạo to lớn, hùng vĩ, đại khí thiên thành. Mọi người trước khi tới cửa điện, cung nữ thái giám hầu hạ đã vào cung truyền báo rồi. Không lâu sau, đại tổng quản nội vụ phủ Mã Vĩnh Thành vội vàng ra nghênh đón, mỉm cười chắp tay. Cùng anh công gia, hầu gia, tất công, viên đệ, ây dài da, ba vị mau vào trong đi, thái hậu và hoàng thượng sắp tới rồi. Dương Lăng và Trương Hạc Minh gật đầu, dưới sự đồng hành của thị nữ đi vào chính điện cung Khôn Ninh. Ba vị hầu tuyển phò mã được Tiểu Hoàng môn dẫn vào cửa, trước tiên ở điện bên cạnh nghỉ ngơi chờ tin gọi. Tất Trần chờ bọn họ đi xa rồi, liền kéo Mã Vĩnh Thành lại nói: Mã công, hôm nay tất cả đều nhờ vào ngài. Ảm ra vì làm phò mã này đã tiêu tốn lượng bạc lớn rồi, chúng ta đã nhận tiền của người ta, phải làm việc cho người ta chứ. Mã Vĩnh Thành cười híp mắt nói: Yên tâm đi, La Mã, ta làm việc còn không xong sao? Hoàng cung đại điện, chúng ta là đại cầm quản, nhận được sự đối đãi tốt của hoàng thượng và hoàng hậu, họ hài lòng, chúng ta nói chuyện không có phân được sao? Y hạ thấp giọng: Gần đây hoàng thượng không phải ngẫu nhiên cũng ở trong cung nghỉ ngơi sao? Chúng ta đối với hoàng hậu Lê Ninh mà nói, đó là chúng ta cổ khuyên, hoàng thượng mới hồi tâm chuyển ý. Hoàng hậu nương nương cảm kích với chúng ta. Tất Chân vừa nghe thấy thế liền cười ha ha nói: Công cao minh, thực sự là thủ đoạn tốt. Ông ta nhìn trước ngó sau, không thấy có người chú ý để lấy trong tay áo ra một quyển ngân phiếu nhét vào trong tay Mã Vĩnh Thành. Mã Vĩnh Thành liền cho tay vào trong áo nhéo nhéo, hôm nay còn dài hơn hôm qua đưa tới. Mà đi bỗng thấy vui hơn vài phần, khi nhỏ giọng nói: "Yên tâm đi, Hoàng thượng, Thái hậu và Hoàng hậu nương nương cũng chính là một ít thân sang người, sẽ không nói nhiều gì với họ đâu. Hoàng đế gả em gái, không lo lắng gia cảnh của người ta cũng không được. Xuất thân thấp kém, có gì đáng hỏi, chính là xem vị phò mã này có thuận mắt hay không, có vừa ý hay không, bên trong ta sẽ quan tâm hơn." Khi chờ Hoàng thượng, Thái hậu muốn ngươi giới thiệu ba vị hậu viện phò mã này nên nói thế nào, không cần ta phải dạy chứ. Tất Chân hiểu ý mỉm cười: "Chúng ta thân phận kẻ hầu người hạ cũng không thể không biết, chính là biết cái gì nên nói, cái gì không nên nói, cái gì nói nhiều, cái gì nói ít, cái gì nói ít trong lòng đều hiểu." Mã công công yên tâm đi. Mã Vĩnh Thành cười ha ha nói: "Tiểu tử này ta thấy cũng được đấy, còn nhỏ tuổi lại là cử nhân, dáng vẻ cũng mi thanh mày tú. Bằng công người muốn dựa vào tài ăn nói mà muốn che mắt Thái hậu và Hoàng thượng cũng không nổi, nhưng đứa trẻ này có chút hơi đáng tiếc, không đi thi công danh, tiên lượng tiền lớn vào để làm phò mã gì chứ. Thân phận này nghe hay thì hay thật, nó lại không tự tại. Hai, bám vào hoàng thân rồi gì chứ. Mã công công là quý nhân, ngài thấy cũng đều là quý nhân. Phò mã ra, trong mắt những người quý nhân này đương nhiên là sợ còn không kịp. Nhưng người nghèo trong thiên hạ nhiều, đương kim hoàng thượng sủng ái công chúa vô cùng, hoàng hậu nương nương chỉ chăm ở phủ công chúa. Hôm đó cũng đã trở về rồi, khiến cho La Công Công còn gặp xui xẻo đi làm đại sứ Lạp Sườn hơn nửa năm. Ở đứa Hàm Đông thần quan nhỏ không lớn, chỉ là sai sứ Hương Nha như béo bở lắm. Dù là địa vị không cao, thấy ai cũng đều được phong lực. Nếu con trai mình được làm anh rể của nhân kim hoàng thượng, còn không đủ khí chất sao? Sau này gặp ai cũng đều không phải ăn nói khét nhét, đó cũng là quốc thích rồi. Địa vị quốc thích cao thấp không phải là xem hoàng thượng ở xa hay gần sao? Y thấp giọng nói: "Công công, hoàng thượng không chào đón quốc cữu. Ngài xem Trương hậu ra bây giờ còn có uy phong của ngày xưa nữa không? Hoàng thượng sùng ái muội muội, người em rể này không phải là phò mã bên cạnh sao?" Mã Vĩnh Thành mỉm cười: "Nói cũng đúng, con mẹ nói đúng, tiền lại muốn có quyền lại muốn có danh. Ê, lòng người không đủ. Rắn nuốt voi thành rồi, ngươi mà bỏ điện đi, chúng ta còn phải ở đây chờ Thái hậu và Hoàng thượng." Được rồi, ta vào trước, Mã tổng quản là vất vả rồi. Tất Chân vái chào rồi tiến vào trong điện. Dương Lăng và Trương Hạc Linh sánh vai vào cung Khôn Ninh. Hoàng hậu cười đứng lên đón chào. Người mặc chiếc áo màu vàng, đầu đội mũ quan, dung nhan chỉnh tề. Dương Lăng và Trương Hạc Linh liền bước lên phía trước, kéo áo bào quỳ gối. Dương Lăng, Trương Hạc Linh bái kiến hoàng hậu nương nương. Tiểu hoàng hậu đưa hai tay ra đỡ lên nói: "Hai vị thành gia mau đứng lên, quốc công, quốc cữu là chuyện tròn phò mã mà vất vả rồi, mau mời ngồi." Vị tiểu hoàng hậu này đang được hoàng thượng chính thức ẩn giấu hơn 1 năm rồi, bây giờ đã được khai huyệt. Đừng nhất tiên cân bản không cưới tranh giành chính cung tinh người, lấy tính khí của chính đức nếu thực sự muốn Đường Nhất Tiên làm hậu. Cho dù là có phế bỏ người cũng không thể có chuyện lập hoàng hậu thứ hai. Nhưng những điều này đều không có, ngay cả nạp Đường Nhất Tiên làm quý phi, hai người cũng ở ngoài cung hành như lễ phu thê dân gian mà không vào cửa làm lễ với đế vị. Nàng và hoàng thượng ở bên nhau, kết quả biến cung Khôn Ninh thành lãnh cung. Từ lúc thành thân cũng không gặp hoàng thượng mấy lần. Thời gian trôi đi, ngay cả chồng lớn thế nào cũng sẽ không nhớ được nữa rồi. Bây giờ nàng mới xuân xanh 16 tuổi, lẽ nào phải giữ cả đời sống cô quả, còn bị các hậu phi khác tầm nhạo báng. Thật ra là muốn học Thái hậu độc sủng hậu cung, tiếc là hoàng thượng chính đức giống như ngựa hoang cởi cương. Hoàng cung đại viện, tổ chế quy củ đều không ràng buộc được người. Nàng dựa vào cái gì mà quản được hoàng đế? Hoàng đế chính đức đi như bay ra hỏa môn, ôm như Đường Nhất Tiên. Chỉ điểm chuyện của Kim Loan Điện truyền đi trên dưới hậu cung cũng không lạ lẫm gì. Vì hoàng đế này đều làm theo ý mình, thích làm nhất chính là phá vỡ quy tắc. Người càng trói buộc chặt thì người càng chạy xa thật xa. Tiểu hoàng hậu từ nay về sau sẽ ăn phần nhiều hơn. Bây giờ dường như hoàng đế chính đức có chút yêu thích nàng hơn rồi. Khi vào cung ngẫu nhiên còn ở lại trong cung, nói chuyện với nàng cũng có chút hòa khí. Nhất hậu nhì phi, mỗi tháng hậu như cũng có thể được hoàng thượng sủng ái vài lần, khác với sự lạnh lùng trước đây. Vì thế hoàng hậu này cũng vui vẻ hơn. Hoàng hậu cũng nên có khí chất của hoàng hậu. Không những hoàng thượng không đắc tội được, những vị trong tân bên cạnh hoàng thượng cũng không dám đắc tội dễ dàng, cho nên Xuân Phong rạng rỡ vô cùng khiêm tốn. Hoàng hậu vừa mới cùng công chúa Vĩnh Thuần, công chúa Tường Nhi nói chuyện trong điện. Công chúa Vĩnh Thuần bản tính hoạt bát hiếu động, trước đây có tỷ trầm tính áp chế nàng, còn không dám gây lên chuyện quá đáng. Bây giờ lại có thêm Chu Tường Nhi, hai người rảnh rỗi nhàm chán suốt ngày ở trong cung gây rối, đi thăm hỏi bạn bè. Hoàng hậu, quý phi, thái hậu, các công chúa thập vương phủ bình thường nhàn rỗi đều đến phủ của mỗi người. Hai vị cô nương tuổi tác còn nhỏ, không sợ trá, lớn lên lại được người khác ưa thích. Trên dưới hoàng cung không ai gây rắc rối với họ, tới đâu cũng đều được chào đón. Hoàng hậu một mình ở trong cung Côn Ninh, địa vị cao quý, nhưng giống như một pho tượng Phật phía trên. Muốn nói vài ba câu vui đùa, tâm sự cũng đều không tìm được ai, cho nên lại càng hoan nghênh họ tới. Ba người bây giờ nghiễm nhiên là bạn bè chi giao. Hai người vừa nói muốn xem tuyển phò mã, hoàng hậu lên nhận lời để họ tới Tình Dương Cát đứng ở phía sau bức bình phong xem lén. Hoàng hậu gọi người mang trà lên, cùng hai vị đại nhân thưởng trà nói chuyện phiếm rất tận tình. Không lâu sau, thái hậu và ngự lĩnh của hoàng thượng cũng tới. Mã Vinh Thành đỡ lấy cánh tay của hoàng thái hậu, cung kính mời hai người bước vào. Dương Lăng và Trương Hạc Linh vội vàng đứng lên tiến giá. Thái hậu hỏi vài câu về tình hình nhân tuyển, liền tới Tình Dương Cát. Tình Dương Cát có 3 phòng, phòng giữa có vách ngăn, bức bình phong tách ra. Phía trước bình phong có hoa mai hiến thủy, có 3 chiếc ghế lớn. Hoàng thái hậu ngồi ở chính giữa, hoàng thượng và hoàng hậu lần lượt ngồi ở hai bên trái phải. Sau đó các cung nữ đặt giấy và bút mực đen ở bàn bên cạnh 3 người và viết 3 cái tên lên trên giấy đó. Xem ra 3 vị này cũng đang đánh giá. 3 tuyển hôn sứ lần lượt ngồi xuống. Mã Vĩnh Thành liền đứng bên cạnh hoàng hậu lớn tiếng nói: "Tuyển 3 vị ứng tuyển tấn kiến." Trong căn phòng khác, cách bức bình phong đối diện một phòng, 3 chàng thiếu niên đang mặc trường bào màu xanh nhạt, mái tóc đen nhẫy, đều lấy khăn vải buộc lên, từ phía sau bức bình phong nối đuôi nhau đi vào. Họ đi tới chính điện bức bình phong cũng không dám ngẩng đầu lên, lập tức quỳ xuống nói: "Tào dân bái kiến hoàng thượng, thái hậu, hoàng hậu." Ngẩng đầu lên. Hoàng thái hậu biết trong 3 người này sẽ có một người là cháu rể của mình, vẻ mặt cũng vui vẻ ôn hòa, giơ tay lên. 3 chàng thiếu niên phục ý chỉ bái một bái, lúc này mới thận trọng đứng lên, đứng ở đó nhìn không chớp mắt. Chớ xem sơ tuyển như một vở kịch khôi hài, tên ăn mày lưu manh cũng có thể tới góp vui, nhưng qua 8 lần sàng